Trading involves substantial risk and is highly leveraged. Losses can exceed your initial deposit. All content is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. We are not affiliated with Bookmap or any other trading vendor. Past performance is not indicative of future results.
All right. Good morning. It's Thursday, the 15th of January, and let's go get to it. Markets open, and we see we see here in the blue. The light blue here was the RTH from yesterday. This is a 1 by 4, 1 by 4 PNF chart, and you can see like despite sellers coming in like several times. Well, we had a trade yesterday, which we outlined since the market moved down and started to break one time framing up. So we had one time framing up here, market going up, and these purple volume profiles are the ETH, and these blue ones are the RTH. So you can see the market moving up, and then it held here, and then it moved up in the RTH again, and then it basically held it. Let me clear this out. All right, Tuesday held it up, and we have this pink zone here, and this pink zone came from. Uh, I have a narration from multiple days where if you see on this RTH session where the buyers came in right here, strong buying came in here, right? So this was a buy tail, and we can put on the drawings, and it was also, if you see on the volume profile here on the right side, this is multiple days here. You can see it's acting kind of like a ledge, where above this ledge you have this taper, you have this volume taper here, and then below it you have all this volume that you would see on a higher time frame chart, which I could pull up. This is actually a 20 tick Renko chart here. Just wanted to zoom in a bit so we can see instead of a 32, instead of a 36 tick Renko. You can see here the taper, okay, and then you see the ledge here. This is what we were looking at on the multiple days. This ledge here, you can see how the volume really picks up below that, and that's what we were testing yesterday. Um, and this level right here, which is this white line, was basically like our risk pivot level, and I was waiting for it to break, and it did break, right? Once, and then twice, and a couple more times, but the market just couldn't go any lower after several times. This says single here. This is where aggressive buyers came in on Monday, the 4th of January, and we really it's not real singles, but they are aggressors, and we couldn't even clear them. We couldn't clear them out. So sellers couldn't break lower, despite how weak this low is. You can see right here, this low was held up in the RTH. ETH held up again. We came back on the 8th, tested it again in the ETH, and so that's one, two, three tests already, and that's not counting this RTH here, which is fairly close. Um, Despite this being fairly weak, it still it still held. It picked it and still held. Um, and then we were basically reversed in the ETH today. Yesterday's close was we were below the initial balance here. You can see these yellow lines were the initial balance. These yellow lines here are the initial balance from yesterday. And uh, early in the morning, we in the ETH we broke one time framing up. So market's potentially weak, and I was stocking for a short. And this zone here, you can see this pink zone is where previous aggressive buyers came in. So this is where buyers lifted the offer, and this is something that I note for potential um, test as a supply and demand zone. This was a line in the sand that was broke in the ETH, and you can see in the previous day, this this was Tuesday. It held, right, and it held for pretty decent bounces, but ultimately it couldn't like keep going up. It made lower highs on the and then in the ETH it broke through it with pretty aggressive selling. So you can see these aggressive sellers came in here and right where the kind of where these aggressive buyers were at. So it was quite some overlap, and the rectangle actually looked like you can see the aggressive sellers came in here. You can see aggressive sellers. Oops, right there as well. Okay. You see the aggressive sellers here as well. Okay. And this is our supply. This is our supply zone. And from where we sold off in the ETH from all-time highs here. Okay. Pushed up in the ETH, made all-time highs, and started to sell off at that point. So this is a key area that potentially we can test in the future.
Sweep ES at 7,004. Sweep ES at 7,005.75.
And maybe today. Market's finding buyers. You can see the market just lifted just now with aggressive buy sweeps. And yeah, so this could be a potential target for today. This is a location where previous sellers were right here, where they came in. And um, in the past right here. Let's see here, hold on. Again. Yeah, hold on. I obviously don't know how to use this. I might have to get a drawing tool instead. Anyways, this is where aggressive sellers came in last time, right here. Okay, so this is another zone of this is a zone of interest that we have tested previously. Uh, it didn't really held as demand when we broke above it. It really just chopped it. So keeping this zone off might be helpful, but we can see that it did hold a supply here, and it's currently holding a supply here in the ETH. But this was during news. So today we had unemployment claims, and tomorrow we have OPEX. Next week we have GDP, we have VIX expiration, PCE, and then we have FOMC on the 28th, which is the week after next. Okay, so these are all important things coming up. Um, But we can see, all right, that this previous zone that we had highlighted, this was the supply and demand zone where previous buyers came in right here, you can see. And then also previous ETH sellers came in right here as well, where we broke one time framing up, okay? Then yesterday in the morning, we pushed up into that zone and the market exhausted and sold off from there. And this is a short that I took and I posted in the Bookmap Discord from this zone here to this zone here, which is the outer perimeter where the buyers came in the past, right here. And this blue zone here is was just a what did I put, weak if broken, and we broke it, but nothing happened. We basically, sellers basically couldn't take it any lower than that. Um, move this zone down here to where the micro composite VPOC is at, and shift it down here to where the buyers came in. So just shifting it down basically to where this high volume node is at and the LVN right there. Um, Now this line in the sand here, basically gonna keep it on. It is an important area in this ETH. If we come back down to it, it's possible that we might be able to find demand there. Um, we have singles right here. Let me double check the market profile. Yeah, singles right there. So weak structure below. If we start breaking down and test these singles, we would want we would basically want the buyers to come in right here where this high volume node is at on the composite chart at 88. And 88 is this ledge in the ETH. So we're gonna need to see buyers hold this zone right here. And if buyers can't hold this zone, we can clean up the structure below all the way down into this supply and demand zone here. Let's take a look at where else we can see these highs right here. We can basically test these highs right here. And I think that's our ledge. Let me take a look here. Yeah, and that's basically our ledge. And I can move this a little bit higher, considering that's where our highs were at. And currently we're just compressing here. Market's just going sideways here on this rip. Okay, so I moved our ledge up a little bit here to the moved our ledge up a little bit, and we're going to be looking for a potential long in this area since the market's pushing down. Buyers need to hold this. Uh, Let me draw these singles here. One second. This is basically how I'm looking at things. So we're looking to interact potentially with the buyers. Currently, we're seeing some profit taking. So some sideways action at the open at this previous where previous sellers came in. Market pushing down after that buy sweep. came in and kind of slammed it up. Can't break this zone. Currently pushing down into this node from the ETH here. Liquidity looks pretty dry. I'll bring over the Bookmap chart. You can see the liquidity. I zoomed out. So here's the move up, and you can see the liquidity is 2.9K above us and 3.2K below us. And 7,025, lots of liquidity here. 7,036. The upper, that supply zone that we were looking at, 28. 28. So we got liquidity front running 28. And pretty and there's not a lot of liquidity below us, right? So this is kind of telling that the market might be attracted to this. The market could be attracted to this location above us here potentially. And here's the pullback. A little bit of a pullback here. And this was a gap to settle, that looks like. Yep. So we just cleared a gap to settle. So this was a on the downside. On the downside. So we come down, test this gap to settle. Okay, we still haven't tested this. We still haven't tested this ETH volume yet, although my rectangle's not really all that accurate. I probably should have put it up to that gap to settle is at. This was the old buy tail as well, it looks like. Might be able to clear that off. So no pullback or anything like that. Basically just a reversal on this move down here. I'm gonna keep this zone here for now. Oh yeah, that's our single. And that's a ETH single, so I'm gonna put an E in front of it. So there's an ETH single right there. So we would have to push through all of this to get down to the and then push down into the middle of that supply zone that we were looking at there. Uh, might take a short down into that zone. We pulled back to DGPs here. Let me just go to the Bookmap chart. We can see a potential setup here, which is a trend line break accumulation. If I'm shorting, I'm basically targeting our low, 96. I want to target the low of that ETH zone, 88. Micro composite there as well, so I'm going to front run it a bit more. Where the previous liquidity was at right there. And I want to target that if it can keep going, I want to target that zone at 84 that we were indicating earlier as well. Although mulling through this ETH zone, that ETH level might pose a potential bit of potential difficulty, because if we start breaking through that, then we could mull through that whole supply zone. So let me take a look. Yeah, I mean, taking full profit here at 88 might not be such a bad idea. Looks like I can't even get a risk off here, so this trade might not even work out. We have decent volume still here in the market. I'm looking for some potential profit taking, yeah, and buyers are still potentially in control from the ETH, so taking full profit at 88 might not be such a bad idea for now. If I'm even able to get risk off, if what I'm thinking is correct. I can probably minimize my risk just a tad. Look at that. One ticked me again. So the market one ticked my so I have 3 lots on, okay, just MES, and market pushed down to to my one lot, so I could take 1/3 of the risk off, and it missed me by 1 tick. I might take second one here at 92 if I can get it, if the market can even push down, which it doesn't look like it can. So really going sideways. It's really difficult to get anything here. So lots of supply picked up in the ETH. Move it over so we can see ETH isolated. Okay, so that was the unemployment claims at 8:30 when volume really picked up, and we can see these buyers, lots of buyers, um, lifting the offer into all this passive, all these passive sellers, and buyers lifting, buyers lifting, buyers lifting. So what is this zone? This is the 92, this is the 92 area. And honestly, putting my second scale right here at 95 might honestly, let me see where I'm at right now. And that's also full session VWAP as well. So front running full session VWAP, probably a pretty good idea if I'm able to get it. Let's go ahead and go back to our other charts while we let this thing work out. So I'm potentially going counter trend here, looking for the market to test this ETH zone right here. Okay. So 96.5 was that gap which we tested and then pushed off of. I'm looking for it to test it again so I can get one scale off. And 92 area is where I'm looking to take the second scale potentially. That's the middle of the zone. And I'm looking to take the rest off at the bottom of the zone, which is 88-ish, if it could get down there. And I'm looking for the market to potentially find some support. If it can't find that support, then and we get an impulse down, then we could possibly see a move to the bottom where this single is at right here. We potentially clean these singles here and maybe go to the bottom of this supply demand zone down here. So I'm looking to take it all off my position off here, and if another setup sets up again, which is an impulse down and a pullback potentially to it, then I'll take that short. I'm leaning on this composite high volume node here. I'm leaning on this ETH high volume node here. If that happens. You keep watching the Bookmap chart if it's helpful. So we can watch some sideways action if y'all are into that. I honestly can't stand it and I can't get a scale. It's so freaking frustrating. Watch okay, there's a scale there. Full session VWAP might be a good second target. currently so I'm short. The reason I'm short is because we broke the ETH trend. We had a few buy sweeps here, and the market was unable to sustain them based on based on the uh, the sell sweep here. This not a sell sweep, my bad. This impulse down. And then this is a well pullback on the on the macro, which is like the ETH macro trend, and this was the short and potential for it to keep going down into our ETH zone here to see if we can test to see if we can still find buying. And we had decent buying at full session VWAP, which is this pink right here, this pink line. And we had decent selling there, and we'll see if we still have that selling there or not. I'm sorry, buying, my bad, buying. Let me fix my levels here, one second. And yeah, it looks like we got buying there. We were not able to make a lower low yet. We'll see if we can here or not. It's looking doubtful though. Market just picked up some more passive sellers here. And buyers tried to lift that offer. Previous VPOC, so this is not correct. Let's fix this, come on. What in the world? There we go. So yeah, okay. So ETH VPOC, that's what I'm targeting here. I'm looking for the market to test to go down to ETH VPOC, maybe a little bit lower, and we can also see a little bit of liquidity there. You can see right here where ETH VPOC is at. Market just going sideways. Such a pain. Lots of equities lifting here. A lot of equities lifting here. So equities lifting. I could be offsides on this trade. Um, you just don't. It's not really that we have. Let me see what kind of buying we have here. You don't even see. You don't really even see any aggressive buyers on the trying to lift this thing. It's just a lack of. It's just a lack of sellers. And that's relatively, and that's relative. You can also see it here in the the 5 minute relative volume chart. You can see sellers, aggressive sellers, and these black lines are the relative volume over the past 20 sessions. So whenever there was buying, you can see there was no buy. The buying was less. The 5 minute buying candles was less than the average. Here, here, and here. Not saying that that's doesn't not saying that that's going to hold my trade. I'm just trying to see if there's really buyers here or not. Okay. So really just sideways action in between this old zone here and the zone from the ETH. It's holding the top of the zone from the ETH. And we're really not finding any sellers to take this thing any lower. Not yet anyways. And you can take a look at the liquidity on NQ. Look at that liquidity. There's there's like almost no liquidity on NQ. So very thin liquidity on NQ. We're getting a little bit more liquidity on the ES than we did before. And the liquidities to the upside could be a magnet to the upside. When though, not too sure. If we zoom out, you can see aggressive buyers here, 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 and here. Cumulative volume delta Also reflecting the same thing that we're seeing here by these aggressive buy delta as well. If the market were to go, if it were to go down, I was saying that I'll be looking for, I'll take a screenshot of this so I can draw it out. Ah, it's a bad screenshot. I'll draw it out so we can see it here. So this right here is ETH demand, front running ETH singles. If breaks, potential to test. I'd say bottom of the supply and demand zone, pink. Something like something like something like that. That's the bottom of the zone. So it'd be cleaning up all this weak structure from the ETH here. And start looking for buyers potentially. And if we can potentially see the move down to the ledge as well. Yesterday's VPOC is right here as well. So oops, sorry about that. But for now, I'd be looking for the buyers to test the bottom of the supply zone, basically cleaning up. We'd be cleaning up all these ETHs, all these buyers here though. But I'd be looking for buyers in this area. To break potentially above it, pull back into it, and then a move back to take the ETH high right here. Oh, something like that. I'm gonna put numbers on these just to kind of Scenario 2. Scenario 1's probably more likely though, honestly. And we might not find the buyers right here. We could find the buyers in the supply demand zone. We could throw an alternative one, which is basically just chop, just stay in this area here and test the ETH high there. We'll put that number 3. So ETH high potential. And then the obviously the obvious targets, the target to the upside. Um, previous sell zone. Previous supply zone at 28. If market doesn't pull back into this area though, I really can't do anything. Really nothing to do. Be looking to take a long if the long were to set up properly, but it doesn't look like it is. So it's just basically sideways action. Let's see if we could get a slight move back up. It can come back up. I missed the overnight high. If it can come back up, maybe I'll take another short. Again, I'll be front running the ETH high, which is my target, but I just don't see how I can get long. And it's not a big deal because I don't have to do anything. All right, so let's move here. See what happens with buyers. Looking to short at developing value area high, and they just got stuffed. All right, so we're gonna try this again. And and see if we can push down and find any sellers or not, or find any buyers or not. I mean, we found some aggressive buyers, yeah, right, but we couldn't hit ETH high, and I really don't see any setup to get long. There's a buy sweep here again. This could be good for targeting here. So there's developing value area high, which would have been a better short. There we go. Missed me again by one tick. And that's the name of the game. You're not 100% right. You could just lose it all. Crazy, man. So we drew up our scenarios for the day. Uh, that's extremely frustrating. That is extremely frustrating. Absolutely frustrating, man. I might just see then this isn't even my trade anymore. So now I'm just triggered. So basically just a chop fest, and it's not even gonna get shorts. Not even gonna get me scaled. Probably it'll probably work out later when I'm out of the trade though, like it always does. So so used to it, man. Yeah, there's nothing but pain, nothing but pain in trading. So that's what the market works on, pain. So you got to remember that. Cannot believe that the market is not even moving like at all. Passive sellers, I'm sorry, yeah, passive sellers executing several times right here in this area. And they just overtook, buyers just overtook that area. Well, I think I'm just gonna end the day. It was literally nothing's happening, so I drew up the scenarios for the day and just ended there. Take care.